Hi everyone, this is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast. It is for all signs. It is a broad spectrum reading, so you need to figure out if and where it fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything's broken or wrong. You're not on the wrong path. It just may not be your reading. This reading is originally created for Wednesday, April 4th. It's not solely set for that date. If you're seeing it on April 5th. If you're seeing it on a different date, by all means, utilize it when you're seeing it if it makes sense. I do believe readings can be timeless. So if you're seeing it on a different date, yet it still resonates, utilize the reading. Readings find us when we need them. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my daily videos. In there, some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about, what decks I'm using, and how to contact me or follow me on social media. If you want a private reading, you can message my Instagram or my Facebook business page. Know that I will never message you. So to sell you a reading, if anybody ever approaches you in that way, know that it's not me. And then easy ways to support the channel. You can do so by hitting the thumbs up button. You can subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I do put up daily content. Sharing the video out on your social media feeds, and leaving me a question or comment. All of that greatly helps, and I appreciate all of it. I do read all of the comments. I will be referring back to the Sunday underpinning energy, which is the Sunday reading. It's kind of like a look at like what the base energy is for the week and kind of what's going on in the background. So you can check that out. At the end of this reading, it populates in the lower left-hand corner. If you want to check that out, that's where that is available to you. So let's see what these cards want us to know. Tomorrow is the full moon in Libra. So you should be preparing for that, thinking about maybe releasing whatever needs to be let go or making completions in certain areas of our lives. The full moon is a great time to do that, and Libra would be all about that sort of balance. So whatever we can kind of complete, let go of, and facilitate balance in our life, this would be the mood to do it in. And let's see what's going on in the cards. Okay, so our card for the day is the Eight of Earth. So this is the Eight of Pentacles. I love how it's a violin that looks like a tree. It's really beautiful. The Eight of Pentacles is like sort of the artisan card, or that, special kind of work card. Like, the particular sort of type of experience we bring to any sort of situation, especially like a 3D situation, where our particular skill set really enables us to focus, put attention on, and make changes through doing the work, focusing on the small details, really bringing forth our own true innate ability in a situation to bring about more beauty, more change, more prosperity in our life, right? The reason why I like this is it sort of feels like there's growth with this tree stemming from this violin. Anything that we're sort of focusing on in our 3D world, be it relationships, career, money, business opportunities, because that would all be pentacle stuff. The focus and the attention that we bring today should be fruitful. It might be surrounding small details, because the Eight of Pentacles often makes me think of that, like it's always that man working on a desk kind of, or on a workbench, like hammering out the different pentacles. And so there's usually detailed work that only we kind of specifically know how to bring to the table in a way. That's why I call it the artisan card, because it's a skill set that maybe only we have or we can access through our past experiences, through our wisdom, through our knowledge, through our abilities to help move us along, right? Pentacles isn't necessarily the fastest of energies. It's more slow, 3D based, but it is also what brings us what we want in the 3D world, right? Through finances, money, even sometimes relationships. So there is opportunities for growth here. In the Sunday reading, I just checked back to see what the Sunday midweek card was, is that Tower card. And so I'm not really mad at seeing this card with the tower underpinning it, meaning to me it feels like we're grounded because this is a Pentacles card. The fact that it's an 8 also has a little bit of strength to it to me. And the fact that this tree is sort of growing out of this violin says that it's almost like we're getting out ahead of the curve of the tower, of the change that could be happening, and putting our focus where it needs to be in a fairly exacting type of way so that we can be better prepared for the changes that are about to take place. The tower may indicate somebody else's upheaval or change, right? And as we watch that take place for them, we just concentrate on where do we grow, how do we change, where do we benefit, or how can we best take care of ourselves during this time. If the tower is something that is affecting us during this time, for me, I feel like with this Eight of Pentacles, yes, it may be affecting us, but we're strong. We're like able to sort of face it by taking it step by step, moment by moment. And the feeling I get from this Eight of Pentacles too is that the focus that we're using is the right focus, right? Or the decisions that we're making are the right decisions, even if it's momentarily. If it feels a little nerve-wracking because it's happening in the moment, don't worry. Just kind of, there's this aspect to the Eight of Pentacles that's about like just keeping your head down and doing the work. And so I feel like that's part of the message here, but with this tree growing out of this violin, it's like, I almost get this feeling like we can enjoy this tower to a certain degree. The violin being musical in nature makes me feel like we can kind of embrace this tower as an opportunity for new growth and change, as an opportunity to see where our skill set is at and how to best utilize it in the face of the adversity of the tower, right? And to still continue to grow. Like the violin makes me think like we can almost take this sort of challenging experience and turn it into like the ease and beauty of music, and almost learn from it or see ourselves in a better, more productive light during this time as we move through it or watch somebody else go through it, right? Because it may not be our tower moment. We might be just solely focused on ourselves and what we need to do to move forward. Let's look at the Rose Oracle. The Sacred Union, beloved within, inner and outer relationships. So if this tower is an upheaval that's happening within ourselves, there's a way to honor this. We saw this card. Was this not Sunday's card? It was Sunday's card. So this underpins the entire week about inner and outer relationships and the sacredness of that. And the grounding stone for this week is that word honor. And when I think about the Eight of Pentacles, there's definitely an honor here in who we are, what we know, and how we execute what we know, right? There's an acknowledgement at a very 3D body sort of level of the skill set that we have and the belief in that, the strength in that. Sacred Union also makes me feel like for some of you, this tower moment may be like happening in the vicinity of you to somebody we care about or love. And we might have to just sort of remain strong, solid, and attentive to what we need to do within our own lives and not allow it to rock us, if that makes sense. And part of the reason why I feel that is because when I look at her face in Sacred Union, she's kind of closing her eyes and going inward, right? And she's honoring the relationships that she has around her, the unions that she's involved in, including the union of the self. And so when I think about that, it makes me go back to this honor stone for the week, which is about honoring that connection to who we are and what we can do in a very practical, grounded manner, even in the face of upheaval or adversity, whether it's happening to us or someone else. There's still opportunities here for growth. There's still opportunities here for beauty and for joy, even with that violin happening. We can still, there's like a Native American belief about, having your song in shamanism, finding the song of your heart, right? And this violin makes me feel like we can still find that even in the face of adversity and allow that song to kind of emanate out into our 3D world and allow us to still continue to be productive, centered, grounded, and build upon, let's say, the foundations that maybe aren't necessarily in shift or turmoil or change, right? And we can roll with those changes or adapt to those changes through making right decisions, doing the work we know how, using the experiences from the past, and bringing our own special skill set to it to honor whatever is going on and to embrace it. In other words, I always say with the tower, let go or be dragged. This to me feels like we are letting go to a degree, or we're focusing in areas that we can not necessarily control, but that we can change productively or fruitfully. And we're honoring the sacred nature of the entire experience. This woman's face, how she's holding her face, she's sort of self-nurturing, going inward, and she kind of has her head back a little bit, like she's releasing herself to the change of the tower. She's letting go and not being dragged, is my feeling. And so to me, with the Eight of Pentacles showing us this tree, it feels like there's room and opportunity for growth and change and transformation in a very productive, strong, and stable way. So let's go, even if the situation feels bigger than us, right? We have, I don't know if it's a choice, but we have some semblance of like a power opportunity here is the feeling that I'm getting. Let's look at the clarifiers. So we have the Seven of Pentacles. Not mad at that because we have the 7 and 8, which is a nice progression. So this 8 is supported by the 7, and the 7 is about patience. The 7 is about, stopping and looking at the crop or the harvest that we've been working on, the work that we've put in, reflecting back on everything that we've put in, and is now the right time to take action. And so I do think that we're doing so with a steady mind, a steady heart. I wouldn't say very emotionally. We'll see what the other two clarifiers are. But to me, coming in off of that 5 of Cups from the Sunday reading, I feel like we've subsided the emotions or come to understand the emotions. And now we're looking at things from a more practical place and from a place of discernment and reflection and inventory even, and deciding, okay, what is the next right step for me to move forward, and how do I do that in a way that sort of honors myself and everyone involved, or all parties involved. We have the 6 of Swords. I like this card because swords represent the mind and the communication, or how we communicate, and the 6 of Swords is always about moving to a more calmer way of being or thinking, and thus ultimately potentially creating it, or communicating it. This could be a withdrawal, especially with the 7 of Pentacles here too, like a pulling ourselves back to the sidelines as the change of the tower, perpetuates in our life or in the lives of those that we love. But we're doing that from a space of love. Like sometimes the most powerful healings can come from just holding space for people where they're at, rather than trying to fix the problem for them or change it for them or find the solution for them. In all honesty, I believe that sometimes when we do that, we actually set them back because they end up repeating the same lesson, whether it's a month, a year, a few years later, they still have to face and learn that lesson on their own at some point. So to me, this feels like moving to calmer thoughts, reflecting upon what we've put into this situation, relationship, or thing, and, where do we continue to move forward? Because this would also indicate a sort of a slow forward clarity that we're moving towards. And this is definitely a growth and putting in that like smaller step-by-step work to get us where we need to be, regardless of what's going on within the situation. The last card is the 8 of Cups. Interesting. This is also a forward movement card, although it's a little bit sad. The 8 of Cups indicates moving towards, something new, letting go of something emotional, letting go of something that maybe no longer serves us, or coming to terms with that. When I see that here with both the 7 and the 6, and it's funny too because there's a 6, 7, 8 in the clarifiers, which is also a progression. They're not in that exact order, but they're represented there, those numbers. I feel like we're coming to a clarity of mind and communication in our mind through the 6 of Swords. We're also coming to an emotional awareness or understanding through the 8 of Cups that allows us to move forward, to detach even. And the 7 of Pentacles is that more 3D bodied sort of understanding or wisdom that, either now may not be the time, or this may be the time to, give up on this crop. This may not be bearing the fruit that I thought or expected from this situation. But all of that is not in waste, right? This Sacred Union card reminds us to remember that everything that we face, even if it's a pain in the butt or like a little bit of struggle bus or tower in its nature. The tower is there to rearrange things that aren't really going to be long lasting to begin with. It's like the foundation is shaky anyway, so it wasn't going to be something that was going to be long standing, whether we wanted it to or not. And so these three cards, these three clarifiers, speak to this almost this like mind, body, emotion understanding of, okay, this may not be the right door, the right path, the right choice. And I feel that, I know that, I think that, I can understand that and maybe communicate that. Doing so in a way that honors ourselves and that is loving, right? Because of the Sacred Union card. But doing that mostly for ourselves is my feeling. So let's go to the grounding stone and see what that stone is. Okay, so it's nature. I always get two reads off of the nature stone. This stone is always, like, to me, it's so square in its shape. It feels very grounded. And with two Pentacles cards up here, there's definitely a connection to nature or the 3D world. Getting out into nature, finding our answers there could be key to finding some of this clarity, both emotionally and mentally, but also our own true nature. What is the truth of our nature, of what we're about, of what we're capable of? That's the Eight of Pentacles here. Being, aware or grounding in the true nature of, say, a relationship or situation. Is it giving us is it yielding the crops that we've put into it, right? The energy and attention that we've put into it. Is it in, like, what's the word? Like, is there a reciprocity here? Like understanding the nature of a situation, a relationship, a person, ourselves, grounding in that and honoring that, and being in truth around that is going to help serve us to connect into who we are, what we know, and what we're capable of, to be able to move forward even in the face of adversity. That is your reading. I hope it makes sense. If it does, please leave me a question or comment. Please hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the reading. If you're new, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And share the video out on your social media feeds to get the word out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.